It's been quite a long time since I colored this page. Sequoia National Park. You know, summer is coming here in the Netherlands. It is the end of May, and in 6 weeks' time, summer holidays are starting. Here, this is Kingfisher Irojiten. You know, summer holidays are on its way, and I am longing for nature. Last weekend we had a great weekend, beautiful weather, and we decided to visit an island, an old polder, like we say in the Netherlands. You know, a piece of land that we stole from the water. You know, for centuries the Dutch have been building dikes and then pumping out the water, and then dry land appears. And with this old polder where we went hiking, they are restoring nature. But I have to tell you, it is restoring nature in a Dutch way. If you live in a country where there is still true wilderness, that is not what we have in the Netherlands. So we went there to take a look and to do some hiking. That was really nice. I have a little bit of footage for you, just a couple of seconds of that island with water, and you can see a couple. I think you can see a boat sailing by, a sailing boat. Let me show you. So yeah, that is nature in progress, being restored. But I am longing for trees and the woods and the animals, and I'm even more longing for the mountains. We will be visiting the mountains next summer, so it has been a while since I've been using these beautiful Irojiten pencils. They are hard pencils and a bit dry, but I discovered that together with Prismacolor, they make a great match. For example, this one, Prismacolor Cerulean Blue. I've been reorganizing my pencils. You know, I think if you have a lot of pencils, and I think many of you have a lot of colored pencils, it's always a struggle to organize them. I have tried different methods, but eventually last week I put them all back in their own original tin. And the Prismacolor pencils. They came in pencil wrap, you know, like this. And I have stored them in a box for a while because I thought that would be easier. But now that I know the pencils, I decided to put them all back in the wraps. And yeah. I should be ironing right now, but I thought, well, let's do a little bit of drawing in between the work. Here's Irojiten again, Kingfisher. Yes, I'm really longing for nature. In the Netherlands, they really try to re-establish nature and to make more room available for nature. But last winter we had quite quite a discussion, because there is this area in a fairly new province, Flevoland, and Flevoland, the Dutch made it themselves. Also with the traditional method of building dikes around an area in the water and then pumping out all the water, and then dry land appears, and then you have a polder. And the idea behind this huge polder was initially to make room for agriculture, for farmers, and to build new cities. And there was one area there that was designated for all sorts of how do you say that in English? Companies. Just in Dutch we say bedrijventerrein, but it's an area where companies can get a place to be. And then somewhere in the process, a guy started to say, well, wouldn't it be great if we left this area alone and let nature take its course? And people started to be very excited about that. And that's how the area Oostvaardersplassen came to be. And then they decided, nature organizations, they decided that, you know, if it's nature, we need to have animals. And that is when things started to go wrong, because they introduced red deer. They introduced horses. They introduced some sort of cattle, wild cattle. And then they said, well, we are not going to interfere anymore because this is nature. We put a fence around it. This is nature. We are not going to interfere. Now, and then the last couple of years, in wintertime, huge problems came up, and especially this winter, because so many animals, there were so many animals, and there was so little food. So the animals were starving by the thousands, really by the thousands. And nature organizations kept telling, no, we're not going to interfere, we're not going to feed them, this is nature. Now there's a huge mistake we are making here in the Netherlands, because they treated that area like it was wilderness. But there is no wilderness in the Netherlands, because if you talk about wilderness, then there is a predator. And although the wolves are back in the Netherlands, they are not back yet. They are not in this particular area. So without a predator, these huge animals, the horses, the cattle, and the deer, they multiply. And then in wintertime, they eat everything they can find. So last winter, the area, it looked like a desert. There was nothing standing there. No plants, no trees, nothing. So they ruin the plant life. It was just a disaster. So people in the area living there, they started to demonstrate, and they started to they themselves started feeding the animals. Now that was not allowed. All problems starting, people getting arrested. It was really a mess. All because a couple of biologists are mistaking Dutch nature for wilderness. And although I would love to see wilderness appear in the Netherlands, well, with that wolf coming, maybe in 100 years or 200 years, but I don't think I will ever encounter true wilderness in the Netherlands as long as I live, because everything is just touched by humans here. So that was a huge controversy. And then, of course, here in the Netherlands, like in many other countries, then the government says, well, we need to investigate. So they investigated, and the outcome of the investigation was we need this area is not suited for so many animals. So they are now trying to move the animals. They don't want to shoot them, because hunting is a very controversial topic in the Netherlands. What's this? True green. Well, let's see. Prismacolor. By the way, the other one, I don't think I told you the name. Chartreuse. 。 Yes, hunting is a very controversial topic here in the Netherlands because many people think hunting is cruel. Yeah, well, I can talk to you for hours about nature and wilderness and stuff like that. We have beautiful, beautiful landscapes in the Netherlands and also beautiful nature. We have great birds. One of my favorite animals is roe deer, a small deer. Love those creatures. Foxes. And it looks like the wolf is a permanent guest in the Netherlands right now. And it looks like there is one wolf who is preparing for a long-term stay. So that's, I think that is good news. But if you want to experience true wilderness, untouched nature, then no, the Netherlands is not the place to be, I think. Ten years ago, my husband and I, we traveled to Canada, the Canadian Rockies, and at one point we were standing on top of a mountain looking over the mountains and the valleys, and we suddenly realized that those valleys that we saw, there was no building, there were no houses, there were no roads. There were only trees and trees and trees and trees and other plants and trees. And then we realized, oh goodness, those valleys are packed with life. They are so packed with life. There are bears there, there are foxes there, there are wolves there, lynxes, you name it, it is there. That was absolutely amazing. From where we were standing, we could only see trees. Trees, trees, trees. But you just can feel it. There is so much life there. So yeah, that's just lovely. Yeah, as you can see, a lot more layers need to be added. I've told this before, but I'll say it again. Since I have given my Prismacolor Premier pencils the sunlight treatment, they have been bathing in direct sunshine for weeks, months, I think. Since then, I haven't had any breakage. Now, there's one thing that I'm very careful with these pencils because as soon as I drop one, the lead will break and I have to give it sunshine treatment again. But it does work. So if you have a couple of Prismacolor pencils and they are you cannot get a sharp point on them because the lead keeps breaking, then try the sunshine treatment. Just put them in front of your window where there's a lot of sunshine and just let them soak up all the warmth. I know there are also people who put their broken pencils in the microwave or in the oven. I found that all a little bit too scary, so I thought, well, let's try the sunshine treatment, and that works just fine for me. Look, and I just sharpened it to a beautiful sharp point. No breakage at all. Are you guys following the news about the Kilauea volcano on Hawaii, on the big island? I've never been there, but I am fascinated by what's going on there. That volcano is creating complete new landscapes. It's it is wow. And thanks to the internet, I can follow everything on the other side of the world. I've never been to Hawaii. I would love to see it one day. But you know, it's literally on the other side of the world. So I'm not sure if I will ever be able to visit that island. But I have visited other volcanic islands, like the island of La Palma. It's one of the islands of the Canaries, and it's a beautiful, beautiful island. But on Hawaii right now, people are witnessing the power of creation, that is for sure. And the immense amounts of lava that are just being pushed up. Incredible. I read and heard about 200 feet high lava fountains. Can you imagine? 200 feet. That's, what's that? 65 meters high. That's a lot. Now, I think it's time for a darker green. How about this one? Irojiten spruce. I must say, I still think that these pencils are the most beautiful ones I've ever seen. Just that white and then the color here. It's so elegant, so good. Look at that. The temperatures are quite high these days in the Netherlands, summer-like temperatures. Today we will be heading for about 80 degrees, I think, Fahrenheit. 26, 25. So I somewhere read, because I've always trouble converting Celsius temperatures to Fahrenheit temperatures, but somewhere I read that 28 Celsius is 82 Fahrenheit. So now I can remember that. 2882, I can do that. Now we won't have 28 degrees Celsius. We are heading for 25, I think, so 75, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. And I have found when the temperatures are a little higher, my harder pencils like Irojiten and also Pro Color, they are, because of the warmth, the heat, they are softening. So and then they become very, very nice, extra nice to draw with. So if you are living in a warm climate and you find Prismacolors way too soft and you find polychromos way too soft, that could have everything to do with the climate that you are living in. And if you live in a warm climate, then a harder pencil might be just wonderful for you. There are a lot more hard pencil lead pencils. Derwent has a couple of them. I believe Derwent Artist is quite hard. Pro Color is medium hard, while this Irojiten is quite hard. Prismacolor, very thin, I believe it's called. Those are quite hard too. So yeah, you can try maybe a harder pencil lead if you are living in a warm environment. I'll definitely keep this in mind, because when I go traveling to a warmer climate, I will keep this in mind. that your pencils become softer. So if you are reading reviews or looking at reviews, then maybe you will also have noticed that the way people describe the softness of hardness of a pencil, it differs greatly. And sometimes it differs so much that I previously thought, this is really strange. It looks like these people are talking about a completely different pencil. But now I think maybe they are talking or using them in a completely different temperature. Could that be the case? Because I clearly notice a difference right now. I think I need to continue my ironing. Yeah. But I really enjoyed adding a little more color to this beautiful page. Sequoia National Park. Goodness, that is such a beautiful park. Sequoia and Kings Canyon. Well, the trees have a lot more green, so that's good. And well, I hope you liked this episode, and I will for sure continue this drawing, and so I'll be back. Bye bye.